I'm 45 years old and I avoid people now. Not because I don't like people, but in fact because I love them. I love them a lot, and that's why I avoid people. So before we get into that, if you're looking for some clarity or direction or just another brother to hold space for you while you come up with real solutions for your situation, book a call with me, your old Uncle E, by clicking the link down below. So this weekend, old Uncle Elliot had 40 brothers here at the ranch. So 40 guys signed up to do a weekend retreat with me here at my house, and it was amazing. My parents were here, my children were here, everybody pitched in to help, and we hosted a retreat, a camp out retreat that lasted for 2 days, 48 hours, and it was amazing. It started off with a bang. We gathered in fellowship and we prayed and we spoke and we cried and we shouted. And then we did active meditations and sat around a bonfire and smoked cigars and lifted weights, lifted stones, did strongman exercises, and spent a lot of time, many laps around my lake in the back. It was awesome. And I would do it again. I, in fact, am doing it again every quarter this year. I love it. I love it, and I love you. I love the guys that were here. But by the end of the, first day, I began to notice that my energy was waning. I was feeling at about 50% of my power bar, if you think about a video game, right? Which would make sense. It's a 2-day event, and 50% would make sense. But by the end of the second day, I was totally dragging. And although I was given everything I got, I was smiling and I was taking pictures and I was cheering the guys on and I was giving people advice and holding space for them as they pulled me over to the side and shared their story with me. And we hugged and we laughed and we cried and we shouted and we had such an emotional, powerfully masculine time together. I was dead, completely dead. And I thought about this at the end of the retreat when everyone had left, and I really was lamenting at how dead I was by the end of the retreat. And I just kept thinking to myself, like, what's the big deal? It was only 2 days, and I really didn't do anything physically arduous, right? Like the guys were doing physical things. The active meditations where they're pounding their chest and they're shouting and they're jumping, lifting heavy stones and just doing a lot of physical activities. It was all on them, and they were lit up. They had more energy than me at the end of the weekend. And I could not figure out why. I was like, why is it that I, who was simply holding space, simply facilitating the program, not really doing the exercises themselves, and I definitely didn't lift as much as the guys, why did I feel so drained? And it dawned on me, I realized that it was the amount of love that I was pouring out all weekend in order to be fully present for every man in every moment that I possibly could. And I felt ashamed that at 50% on the end of the second day, my ability to love, my ability to hear, my ability to hold space was beginning to wane. And I say this to you, I share this with you because if you're anything like me, you're a guy who has a lot to offer. You're a person who has a lot of love for other people and you want to guide them. Maybe you're a coach, maybe you're a guide, maybe you're a spiritual director, maybe you're a trainer, maybe you're just someone who is there for their friends when they're going through hard times. And guys like us, people who live to guide others, have a tendency to be permeable with our energy, meaning we give a lot of our energy away because we want to. We also open ourselves up to receive a lot from other people, even if it's things that are difficult, like hearing about the hard childhood, the deaths in the family, the confusion and the distraction and the hard things that people are dealing with. when you're permeable, pouring out your love, but also opened up to receive some of the darker emotions from other people, it's gonna beat you up. It's gonna beat you up, and it beat me up, and it's been beating me up for years. A lot of you guys started following me on my YouTube channel. That's the Strength channel, Elliot Hull Strength. It started out as Strength Camp, but I don't call it Strength Camp anymore because I closed Strength Camp. And over these years, you've watched my peak and fall in popularity. And when I think about this weekend, that peak and then fall of energy, it starts to make sense to me why my career looked the way it did. Because as I was getting started in my career, just like when I was getting started preparing for the event yesterday, there was a lot of excitement, but not much pressure. Nobody was here. Nobody was there. Nobody knew who I was back then. And in that, I was able to pour out all of my focus on creation, creativity, and setting the stage for what would ultimately come. Now, for my career, it peaked in 2014 when that Strength channel reached 1.8 million subscribers right now, but 1 million subscribers in 2014. And I went from being a lone trainer in a warehouse gym in the south side of St. Pete, where it was completely desolate, but for a few crackheads and prostitutes, to being internationally recognized. And people coming to my gym, knocking on the window, looking in, all times of the day. Even when I was just doing work and I needed to be silent, I needed to be by myself, I had people showing up. People that would come from miles and miles away, cities away, or even countries away, looking for me just to get a piece of my love. And that peak of popularity and people loving me and even some people not loving me, but the energy of other people, all this energy of other people literally cracked me up. And I couldn't understand why back then either. I couldn't understand why there were so many other famous people. And I'm like this famous in the spectrum of fame. Think about Hollywood celebrities and guys like that. Like, how is it that they can maintain their sanity for so long, doing a career that attracts so many different energies from so many different people and maybe drains them, and they don't crack up the way that I cracked up? And it has a lot to do with the type of person that I'm really coming to grips with the fact that I am. Really coming to be honest with myself about how I operate. I don't know if you call someone like you and me an empath. I've heard people say we're chosen ones. I don't know. I also know that this is consistent with ADHD. I'm just a little different. We're a little different. And if we don't protect ourselves, if we don't know ourselves and we don't protect ourselves, we'll be destroyed. And that's exactly what happened to me in 2016 and at the peak of my event this weekend. Except I'm a lot wiser and older now, so I kind of knew what to do. But back then, I closed my gym and I moved my office up to a loft somewhere far away from where Strength Camp was. And I let my partner at the time, gym partner, take Strength Camp over because I couldn't handle it anymore. All the people that were coming in, all the members that were coming in, all the visitors from out of town, and the god-awful fucking rap music that was blasting all the time made me fucking crazy. I just couldn't handle it. I know that there are people that can live in those kinds of environments constantly all day being surrounded by people and loud music, and they're doing just great. And I'm not saying that those people don't love the way I love, but when I love, I pour it out thick and I suffer. Now, I'm not whining, I'm not complaining, I'm not saying that we shouldn't love, but there's a way to go about giving our love, brothers. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about this. But over the course of the years, after peaking in that particular way, God set me down and put me into a cocoon. From age 36 to 45, where I'm at right now, I've been up and down, all around, kind of confused, doing things and hiding from you. doing things and not doing things and disappearing for months or two at a time. And I think it was appropriate. I think it was normal. I think that entire almost, over 10 years was a deep transformative initiation, a liminal space of change for me. And I learned a lot of things in these years. I learned a lot of things about myself, and I learned what I needed to know. I'm able to see myself in a way I couldn't see myself before, and finally open myself up again to share my love with retreats like I did this weekend. Now, I mentioned earlier that I was a little confused about why my energy was drained. It's not that I was confused. The truth is I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't expect it to be so rapid, and I didn't expect it to onset so hard. What I knew I needed to do was take space. I needed to take time. I needed to be by myself and rest. Rest and recharge the batteries. If you're a lover of people, if you're a coach, you're a trainer, you're a guide like me, fellas, you got to take care of yourself first. And that only happens when you avoid people. You got to avoid being around them. You have to spend time by yourself. I spoke to a young trainer yesterday who's doing 30 hours of training a week, and he says it's just the amount that he can handle. But he's a little freaked out because he's saying he wants to take on more clients and do 40 hours a week because it would help him have more money. And he knew deep inside, following his intuition, that wouldn't be right. It was attractive to go after that extra money. But he knew that extra money wouldn't be worth the sacrifice he'd be making to the love that he could give to his clients, the 30 that he has now. And so he said no to the money. That might be what you have to do. Say no to more clients, say no to more contracts, say no to more videos, like I did, to protect yourself from the onslaught and the drainage of energy, your love. Because that's really what your energy is. Energy is love. How do if you don't have energy, you can't give love. And if you're pouring out love like a sacrificial lamb, blood and water every day, and you don't recover, and you forget that you're not a savior, you're not a savior. You're a mirror. You're a space holder. You're a guide, not a savior. That's Jesus Christ. You carry your cross, but your cross must look very different. Your cross may look like taking time off, saying no when people want you. You need to have time every day where you do nothing and consume nothing. If you're having a hard time deciding what your next phase is in life, what the next thing you're supposed to do in life, or you're just fucking frustrated with the way things are going right now, it's because you need silence. You need time. You need space. You need boundaries. And in those boundaries, God can fill you back up so that you have what you need in order to proceed in your gift giving of love, brothers. So I'm 45 and I avoid people now. I avoid people virtually. I avoid too many people in my business. I don't have a bunch of business partners and a bunch of people that I work with because it's all noise. Social media is noise, friends are noise, business partners are noise, clients are noise. If you can't hear the still small voices because you got too much noise, too many people speaking in your ear, even if it's positive things, and that can become addicting too. Oh, you've helped me, you've healed me, you saved me. No! I'm just pouring out God's love, and if I don't fill back up, I won't have anything left for you because I won't have anything for me. So my brothers, if this message resonates with you, it means that maybe you're sensitive like I am, a little emotional, empathetic, or maybe you're a chosen one. I don't know, bro. But as you start paying attention and listening to yourself and honoring what you need so that you can give even more, you'll start to realize that love is infinite, but it requires recharging. Done.